Hello, my name's Olurotimi Osha. Today is June the 12th, 2026. So first of all, I want to uh, say congratulations, happy Democracy Day to Nigerians. Of course, I'm a Nigerian American, and you know, the Nigerian Democracy Day is in honor of the presumed winner of the 1993 June 12th. 1993 presidential elections, Chief MKO Abiola. Um, I have some kind of personal appreciation as well, since I recall as a child, right, as a child in Nigeria, I met Chief MKO Abiola, and you know, even though he was a very prominent man, I'll always remember, the kindness, the appreciation that he demonstrated in the brief moments that I interacted with him. I met him because my brother, right, one of my brothers was very close um, one of his sons, right. They're classmates, and they used to be best friends at the time. And so I met Chief MQ Abiola and his own, of course, several of his children. I know several of his children, some of his children, because they went to school with me as well. Some went to school with me as well. But I'm not discussing Democracy Day today. What I wanted to do was do a short video expressing why I love my new country. It's no longer new, because I've spent most of my life in America. I'm an American citizen, and of course, ethnically or culturally, I'm Nigerian, and Yoruba specifically. But today I'm talking about why I love America. I do a number of videos sometimes, and I try and be balanced. I give the good and the bad, right? Because I do discussions and about America. I talk about American history, and some people with how should I put it? I want to put it in I have a phrase that's supposed to be a euphemism. So some people with selective order appreciation, right, will probably hear just one part, right, just the criticisms. By the way, even if one's criticizing, it's part of my appreciation for America, because criticisms are protected by the First Amendment. I do videos talking about the Constitution as well. So the First Amendment provides us, freedom of speech, expression, and also the right to petition our government for redress of our grievances. So that includes the right to criticize the government. Again, I want to keep this video short, so I'm going to discuss why I love America, but I'm going to explain by means of an analogy. I'm going to use an analogy. Analogies are not devised to be perfect. An analogy helps to explain and helps the audience to understand a concept in another way. So I'm going to describe my love and appreciation for America using an analogy. And I'm going to use the analogy of a hotel. That's not me saying America is a hotel. That's not what I'm doing. So, and in the end, but let me get with expressing how I love America. Of course, originally I'm from Nigeria. I have, I'm from Nigeria. My family's in Nigeria. My siblings, my mother, my father's late now. And of course, I came here originally to go to school. So, off with the analogy. When you come to a school in America as an F1, you're given an F1 student visa. It's a non-immigrant visa, and it's temporary, right? So, normally, people come to school here through various means. Their parents might fund them, might sponsor them, pay for their school fees, like my parents did, or they might win a scholarship, or different means, right? But let me start immediately with my analogy with the guest at a hotel. So I'm imagine I came to America. and compare you know my movement to America, my relocation to America, like a guest in a hotel. So there's this hotel. It's probably a five-star hotel. Visualize a guest in a hotel who is going for a conference. He has a meeting, all right, and so he has a temporary stay at a hotel. To be admitted to a hotel, right, as a guest, one has to meet their rules, their requirements, including paying their bills. Often, one's asked to pay their bills in advance, right? So, I'm given my bill in advance as a hotel guest, and so I get a room, right? I get the room that uh, my money can afford, right? And so I get a room at a hotel, and I tell them that well, I'm there, going to be there for a few days. Maybe I have a conference, and I say, well, I'm going to be at this hotel for 3 days, right? But for some reason, after 3 days, I decide, according to the rules of the hotel, to extend my stay, right? So I have to pay more money again, pay more money. So my bills extended, and so the hotel likes me, and they extend my stay, right? My stay in my room. So I stay on, for a few more days. Instead of 3 days, I add a week. So I stay for a week, 3 days. But I have other things to do, right? After the time expires, um, and so the hotel has no problem with it. They think I'm a good guest, and so they continue to extend my stay. So from a week, it goes into a month. So I'm now staying at this hotel for a month, and the hotel, because they like, they like my conduct. I abide by the rules. I pay my bills. They let me stay, and uh, I move into another room, right? I move into another room in the hotel because sometimes they they want to make sure they just don't want one person staying in the same room throughout, so they move me to a new room. Now over time, I decide, well, um, I have so many things to do because I'm seeing a city, right? I'm seeing that there's so much to do in this city that I'm staying in the hotel. And so, apart from my conference, I want to use time to tour, right? To tour the city as a guest. And so, the hotel has no problem. They extend my stay. And then one day, the management of the hotel calls me and says, look, they realize that I'm a good guest, and I have other things that I have to do around the city, and I need a place to stay. And they say, well, to help defray my expenses, they say they're hiring, uh, somebody to be a night manager, right? They need someone to be a temporary night manager at the hotel, at the front desk. And they say, well, they have a custom, a practice of hiring their guests, right? Guests, long stay guests who are staying long stay. That since I'm staying long term, that they can interview me and offer me this position as a night manager at the front desk. And also, it comes with benefits, right? Because most guests don't want to stay, don't want to work at the front desk, right? Because they want to be treated like guests, right? Guests have privileges, and if other hotel customers, guests see that, well, you're working there, they might look down on you or whatever. So they say, well, so you know what? It will not only defray your expenses if you help and work at the night desk as a night desk manager, but also we will actually elevate your room, so you just feel better about it. We'll move you to a penthouse. We let our extended long-term guests who work with us, right? We let them stay in the penthouse. So we're going to move you to the penthouse, give you a nice room in the penthouse. Of course, the penthouse is the best place to stay, and you'll be a night desk, a night manager at the front desk. So excellent, right? I didn't plan it. It wasn't something that I intended, something that I planned. It just happened that way. So I'm doing that. I'm waiting. I'm doing the job, and they give me an extended stay, and they say, look, whatever, we're not going to give you a deadline. Whenever you think your visit in the city is over, we'll let you, since you're working for us now part time, we'll let you carry on. So I'm staying in the penthouse of the hotel. You can see from originally coming from outside, out of town, right? From out of town, from another country, paying for 3 days, right? I had a 3 day conference that I came for originally, and I had a room, I had my bill. I've been able to extend my stay, and then I've been able to get a job at the hotel as a you know, night manager at the front desk, and they've provided me a penthouse as part of the benefits of working for them, right? So now, over time, the hotel now decides, right? The management, the owners of the hotel, not no longer managers. Management works for the hotel. They can fire management at any time, right? So they can fire me as a front desk night manager at any time, right? So um, the owners of the hotel, the shareholders, the people who actually own the hotel, create the rules, right? For the managers to follow and for the guests to follow. They now, over time, now approach me and say, you know what? We like you, right? We know that you actually came here, you had your plans, and you have your home country, your home that you come from, right? They know, of course, people who are hotel guests, they come from different places. Some left their mansions to come and stay at a hotel. The hotel doesn't care, the size of the home that you lived in. Some even come from a hut, right? It doesn't matter, where you come from. Some live in a duplex, some live in a condo, some live in an apartment. Hotel guests, come live different houses behind just to stay temporarily. So the hotel owners now approach me and say, you know what? Um, I actually approached them. I thought, you know what, I like this hotel. What does it take to be a part owner of this hotel? I like to buy shares in this hotel because I like the way they treat their customers. Their customers feel good, their guests feel good, their clients, they treat them very well. They have a good reputation. And I'd like to be a part owner of this hotel. And so the owners of the hotel decide and they say, well, we're going to give you part ownership, right? We're going to give you part ownership of the hotel, and you no longer be just management or guest. You can do whatever you want to do, but now you're going to be one of the owners of the hotel, and they approve my ownership, and then I now become an equal owner of the hotel. They don't have a hierarchy, right? They don't have a hierarchy that, well, you are a long-term owner or you are an original owner and you're a new owner, and so there's a classification, there's a hierarchy. No, there's no hierarchy to hold ownership. They've just made me a full-time owner, an equal shareholder of the hotel, right? So done with the analogy. Now let me explain the analogy. The United States citizen is like a part owner of America, right? They're shareholders, and there are two ways that you can be a citizen: a naturalized citizen or a birth citizen. Now, in the 14th Amendment, which defines citizenship in the Constitution, both forms of citizenship are equal, right? You're equal citizens. You have rights and you have privileges, right? You have immunities, you have benefits, privileges, right? And as a citizen, whether you're naturalized or you are born you're a natural born citizen. Now, and then it's no longer a privilege. Now, people who get visas to come and visit America, right, like I did originally, right, are not entitled, right? They're not entitled to a visa, right? If I had been denied my visa at the embassy in Nigeria when I was leaving in the 90s, I would not have had a way to sue, right, to file a complaint or petition. No, I'd have to do a new application until the interviewer, the U.S. government official who is interviewing me, approves it. I have no means of petitioning that my visa was denied. That's because I have no right, I have no entitlement to receiving a visa. It doesn't matter that I paid money for the interview, right? It doesn't matter what my purpose is in America, right? A visa, being issued a visa to visit America is uh, a privilege, right? Not an entitlement. And however, once you're a citizen, and then also your application to be a citizen, right? It's also a privilege. not an entitlement, right? Because America could have denied my citizenship. If they denied my citizenship, there's nothing I could do, right? It's up to the officer who's conducting that interview, who's approving your citizenship. There's nothing that one can do about it. But once you're approved, once you become a citizen, then you have privileges. You're entitled. You have an equal entitlement meant as citizens who were born here, protected by the 14th Amendment, right? So you can see a reason I love America so much, right? So I was, and like many people who are F1 visas, right? It doesn't matter the status of your parents, right? If they you or the home you came from, if you're living in a mansion or a hut, right? Once you have your resources and everything and you qualify, you can come in and get your F1 visa to study or have your temporary visit. It's a privilege, not an entitlement. Now you can imagine someone like me who didn't come with my parents, I didn't come with my family, I came alone. It's going on almost 30 years now that I've been here. I've spent majority of my life in America. And here I am, I went from being a guest to being a part owner of America, right? To being an American citizen, because that's what an American citizen is. So you see in our Constitution, which defines, rights and duties, it says we the people. It's referring to the citizens. It doesn't say, well, only the citizens who are, what is it, heritage Americans or people whose ancestors came off the Mayflower or people whose ancestors were slaves. No, no, no. It says citizens. All citizens are we the people. So you get to make the rules as well, like an owner. So you can see one of the reasons why I really, really love and appreciate America. I went from being a guest to being an equal owner, right? An equal shareholder with privileges, rights as an American citizen. That's like somebody, a visitor, a guest in a man's house. This is even better than that. I chose not to use that analogy. You could be a guest in a man's house, in a friend's house, your neighbor's home, just a guest, you're traveling. And, they give you a room to stay in temporarily, and then they suddenly make you a part owner of that house, right? So that's another reason. It's a reason I really love and appreciate America. And I don't think this could have happened to me anywhere else in the world. For me, one of the things on Sundays, I like to discuss the Bible, right? I like to discuss scripture because it's a way to get intelligence, moral intelligence, right? There are other forms of learning. I've done videos talking about my background. I was a STEM major. I have a business major. I have a law degree, right? I am a historian. I have degrees in history. And those are intellectual, forms of intelligence, right? Academic forms of intelligence. However, there's something called moral intelligence, and that's you can gain from scripture, reading the Bible. There are different forms of religion. Now, in my Bible, for instance, where I learn from, it says, do not compare yourselves with others. Only fools compare themselves with others. This is from Apostle Paul. Paul was one of my favorite authors growing up. Paul the Apostle, he wrote most of the epistles in the New Testament, right? He says, only fools compare themselves with others, right? So learn to appreciate your own individual, unique journey. Your journey is your own. You can't compare it to other people's journeys, and you shouldn't be envious of other people's journeys. Make the most of your own journey. So this video, I wanted to keep it short. It will be under 20 minutes. So this is why I love America. I was a guest. Just draw an analogy, a parallel with someone who was a guest in a hotel, went from being a guest who paid money to becoming an equal owner, right? An equal owner in the hotel who doesn't have to pay money anymore as a shareholder. My name is Oluro Timiosha, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you.